We're nearing the end of meteorological spring, and one comment I've heard a lot the last few months is, can't we just have a few normal days? Meaning that it just seems like an unusually high number of days have either been much warmer than average or much colder than average, and not many in between. Now, spring is typically highly variable in Pennsylvania, of course. As an example, here's the daily high temperature last year in State College from March 1st to May 31st, meteorological spring, with the normal or average daily high superimposed in orange. Lots of day-to-day variability. Now let me add two other lines. The upper one is 20 degrees above the daily average. The lower one is 20 degrees below. And you can see that it is unusual for the daily high to go outside of those bounds. And in fact, 20 or more degrees either side of the daily average in spring is a reasonable way to define a day here in the Commonwealth that you would remember as anomalously warm or cold. And that's what I'll use. So the question is, has this spring had more than its fair share of those extreme days? Well, here's the average number of days over the last decade when the high temperature was 20 or more degrees, either above or below the daily average during meteorological spring. As few as 3 or 4 southeast of the mountains to generally 5 to 8 in much of the rest of the state. With 92 days from March 1st to May 31st, this is a rather unusual event. And now here's how many such days have occurred so far this spring. The fewest is 10, the most is 16, and at most of these places, this year's number is at least double the average. Harrisburg, Allentown, and Philadelphia really stand out as around triple their average. And just to kind of calibrate these numbers, through yesterday, we've had 80 days of meteorological spring so far. So a 15 here means that 1 out of every 5 or 6 days has been very unusual temperature-wise. I think that's pretty remarkable. Just to get a sense for the year-to-year variability of this measure, here's the number of days each meteorological spring in State College when the high temperature was 20 or more degrees from average, going all the way back to the year 2000. This year's 16 is the most this century. Only 2012 with 15 comes close to that. Ultimately, springs like this one with large temperature swings are driven by frequent periods with big undulations in upper air winds. For example, this was the upper air pattern last Thursday, when many places in the state were more than 20 degrees below average. The blue colors indicate a significant dip in the jet stream that sponsored the chilly air at the surface. And now here's this past Monday when several places were 20 or more degrees above average in the state. Here the red shades mark a northward bulge in the jet stream that led to temperatures near 90 at many places. We've simply seen more than our fair share of days like this spring. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment with more.